Namaste. Introducing essential engineering mechanics with simplified methods of solution, that is, aim with SIMS. I am Narasimha Siddhanti Malladi, Bachelor of Engineering and Mechanical Engineering from Osmania in 1965, MTech IIT Madras in Machine Design 1969, PhD in Mechanisms Oklahoma State University 1979. I am celebrating my 80th birthday during this 2022 and I offer you this precious gift. I am a former member of faculty at IIT Madras, Tuskegee University, USA, JNTU College of Engineering, Kakinada, KL University, Vijayawada, etc. I am also a former US Research and Development Engineer at Contour Data Corporation, developing automatic disk drives, Diebold Incorporated, developing ATM mechanisms, Templeton Kelly and Company, developing railway actuators, and finally, I was a research fellow at NASA Kennedy Space Center for 2 summers, designing shuttle linkages. You are invited to visit my website malladiacademy.com. I live at Edinburgh, Texas State, USA. This is the home of University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Aim with SIMS. Which route will you take to go from A to C in this figure here? If your answer is AC direct, you will surely like aim with SIMS. Here are two equations, vector equations. AC is equal to AB plus BC, or I have written AC in the polar coordinates and the other loop vectors AB and BC in Cartesian coordinates. In polar coordinates, the distance is 5 units non-stop journey, and in Cartesian coordinates, distance is 7 units with a stop. If you take EM with SIMS, which is free at home, you can solve any engineering mechanics problem from any textbook or exam very much easily and systematically in less number of steps and speed, with high speed. EM with SIMS provides you with 5 smart SIMS. EM with SIMS classifies planar problems in 3 groups. Group A contains 4 types for particles and links, and Group B contains 2 types for rigid bodies with 3 forces. Group 3 contains 4 types for rigid bodies and with multiple forces. All related variables, that is unknowns, in a problem are solved with single variable equations like 5f is equal to 10 or f is equal to 2. No more hassle with simultaneous or convolute equations when you use SIMS I developed. For whom is this course designed? Any student preparing or taking physics, mechanics at high school or pre-university or junior college. Those preparing for IIT entrance exam, etc. to solve mechanics problems quickly and correctly. Students of engineering mechanics, students of kinematics and dynamics of mechanisms and machinery, students of elements of machine design to start with free body diagrams, students preparing for GATE exams, etc., faculty teaching engineering mechanics, and principals desiring to improve student performance, chairpersons desiring to offer excellent education, those desiring to learn and practice Prahalad Vidya and natural foods for radiant health, those who desire to develop a new way of thinking to keep oneself young at any age and stage. Sims with the simplified integrated MathCAD software that I am using. This unique PTC MathCAD visual format integrates standard mathematical notation, text, and graphs in a single worksheet like this. This makes PTC MathCAD ideal for knowledge capture, calculation reuse, and engineering collaboration. Mechanics problems are solved in this book using calculator in the class book, using MathCAD in review material, using MathCAD interactively in 1. Prep videos, prep tutorials, class lecture, class tutorial, sample unit tests, and course exam as I demonstrate in this introductory lecture to you. Mastering mechanics with ELA, that is integrated instruction, learning and assessment via Panchatantra, the five-fold plan, is 1. Read the class book and review material about 4 pages per class. Watch the 15-minute prep video. Apply the concepts in prep tutorials. Attend the 1-hour online live class lectures, which will start mostly in July or August. 4.1 10 minutes guided Prahlad Vidya SIMS, that is Simplified Integrated Mindful Samba, which is scientific algorithm for miracle brain activation. In these days of secularism, this meditation will be completely scientific and free from any religious indoctrination. Then I spent 40 minutes discussing the subject matter, okay, as a lecture and explanation, again using interactive MathCAD. Then last 10 minutes I discuss natural foods for radiant health. I gather this mostly from Dr. Khadar Wali and Manthana Satyanarayana and other people for whom I have great appreciation for their scientific thinking about food. Now finally, practice the class tutorial sets, simple sample unit test and sample course exam for all yes by all, which I will discuss as we go along. Any subject is to be mastered by solving problems. Let us take a very typical problem of engineering mechanics with a practical, a common sight. So here is a mother and a daughter carrying a bag of vegetables weighing about 6 kg. Find the force in each of their forearms. So here is the free body diagram, and I have indicated the forces like this. This is kgf, and I don't know the force in this arm, but I know the angle at 30 degrees from the horizontal. This is called polar angle counterclockwise. Again, this A is 114 counterclockwise from horizontal. Okay. Now, for the sim solution, we first write the vector equilibrium equation. That means I add all the vectors vectorially. Okay. A like this, okay, like this, equal to 0. Now, I can rearrange this in a more useful way to solve the problem, like vector system equation for, this is type 3 because there are 2 magnitudes unknown. We discuss them in the future lectures more in detail. Now to solve this, I make a simple trick. I rotate the whole free body diagram such that B becomes horizontal. That happens by subtracting 38 degrees from every vector analytically. So therefore, the angle of B, now this new equation becomes 0, and if I take the vertical component or y component or sine component, it becomes 0. So B is eliminated in this rotated sine equation of the problem. So therefore, I can gladly find out A in this simple way. and I can use the calculator and find the answer. This is answer number 1. In a similar way, I can subtract the angle of A and thus eliminate A and find B as shown here, again using a calculator. This can be this can be done using a calculator, or I can as well use MathCAD, which I will demonstrate later on. Now, let me show how I use the MathCAD in a very systematic way. So for this, I write the T3 standard form equation, that is A plus B is equal to C for MathCAD, and I substitute the corresponding variables here. A is known, theta is known, and this is the data. And so I can use the same formula. Okay, here A is this. Okay, so simply to B is same formula with variables here. Again B. So I can calculate this. I can do this. Now the advantage of MathCAD is I can change the data and get various results. Suppose I say this is kg, and suppose I convert into a force, okay, unit. Then this becomes newtons here. Okay, suppose I change this kg into pounds. Okay, lbf. So that's the advantage. Okay, and I can change this, this to any other number. Okay, and get different results. Okay, 10. Okay, then I can like that. Okay, so let's get back to the original value. Okay, see, I do that. Now, so we have demonstrated every problem in the book or in the review, class review, will be both in this format as well as this format. Okay. Now, why did I write this class book and develop Panchatantra? This is a kind of a homage to my late mother, Sashigiramma Garu. In 1953, I failed my 8th grade entrance examination at a high school in Draksharama, Andhra Pradesh, and I was admitted in 7th grade with great difficulty. Then, my mother, who studied only up to 5th grade, said, I soaked the mung beans the night before grinding them next morning to make pesarattus for you. She continued, similarly, you soak and prepare your mind by reading the textbook chapter, 2, reviewing the chapter summary at the end of the chapter, and 3, answering some chapter questions at home. Then attend the class the next day, play after the school, and finally 5, complete the homework before sleeping. You will have sure success. I religiously followed her advice, and this became my Pesarattu plan for sure success, or in other words, PPSS. Finally, the very next year, I got a scholarship so that I could pay reduced fee to the school, and I won gold medal at my high school. All my education was due to scholarship. I didn't spend any money for my education until I completed my PhD in the United States. This is the book. One can buy the paperback at this, or you can find the other address on the internet. But you can read the completely revised 2022 copy with same number of pages and topics, totally free from any obligation at malladiacademy.com, my website, with review material, videos, and tutorials. The soft copy looks like this cover, and this is a train approaching Rajamahendravaram, my birthplace, in East Godavari district, Andhra Pradesh. This is known as Godavari, about 2.7 kilometers. and this is a dedication page, and this is contents. There are 60 lessons, and there are 10 lessons or classes in each unit, 6 units. And this is a Timoshenko problem I solved. Solved using the 5 sims in a simpler way than Timoshenko himself did. In fact, it is he who inspired me to do this indirectly when some people gave about 4 pages of solution of this when it was given in an examination. Okay, now engineering mechanics, study of forces and movements for the analysis and design of structures, that is statics, machines, that is dynamics. And what are the things that are new in this book? Okay, I made a list of it. Okay, number 1, law of sines compared to traditional methods. Even with sims is easier with sim 3, errors are avoided. Lamy's theorem, again, it is not limited to 3 forces anymore. Cartesian coordinates, easier polar coordinates as we have seen, and simultaneous equations, and we have single variable equations. Now, more steps, less steps. Complex notation, simple unified notation. Handwritten and calculator are OpenOffice and MathCAD are used directly in the tutorials. Moments by XY components, lever arm and polar method. Several formulae, only 5 sims are used to solve problems. Hundreds of 2D problems, only 10 types of 2D problems cover all the problems. Complicated 3D methods, simple notation and methods. Lengthy centroid and moment of inertia procedures, very simpler formulations are made here. D'Alembert's principle is replaced by accelerated body diagram, which is easy to solve. Virtual work problems are similarly solved at this stage using simple canonical moments. Several FBDs for a truss, okay, whereas a single FBD is used to solve all the to complete this truss analysis. Now finally, the tutorials are non-interactive in the traditional presentations, whereas here completely interactive, and you can use the MathCAD software itself to solve the problems. You are invited to submit new problems you desire to be solved by me using sims to be part of my tutorial sets with textbook name, author, edition, chapter, and problem number, etc. Or if it is an exam problem, please provide me the details of it, etc. Now, these tutorials are self-guiding grading of MathCAD interactive tutorials. How do we do that? Each prep tutorial and class tutorial will usually have 3 two-step questions of marks 4 each, totaling to 12, and then a multi-step problem of 8 marks. Total marks per tutorial are 20. Wrong answers can be corrected with interactive MathCAD sim hint for each step and final sim solution. You award yourself full marks for correct step, half marks for corrected step. Marks are automatically added. Practice to get 18 by 20 for getting an A. Unit test will have 2 class tutorials. Again, it is self-corrected for 40 marks. Course exam of 120 marks will be similar to 6 random class tutorial sets, 1 per unit. MathCAD does all the automatic grading. A typical tutorial, here in this case class tutorial, looks like this. This is a 4 mark problem, and here we are trying to find out the unknown angles of 2 forces with a known force completely. So this is solved by cosine equation discussed in the text, and I know the equation, so I can directly substitute the variables into the equation, then get the numerical value of the things I have to find out. Then I find the two angles because it's a cosine function. So it gives two values. So one, and I'm trying to find out this angle. So it cannot be 140 degrees, but it is 339. So this is the right answer. I chose this as the answer. So now I compare it with the ELA box one. Okay, I got the right answer. So I give myself four marks here, something like that. Okay. So like this I do for 3 questions or so, and if I get it wrong, I get a hint here, sim hint. Otherwise, uh, sim solution is given here, so I can study this and correct myself and master this. So here it is, the sim solution is done in a very systematic way, so that you can put the data in a particular format and then solve it. So this can be used for checking also later on for any problem from any textbook. So here is a multi-step problem, more complicated. So here I am solving a square crank chain with eccentricity, which is usually tough, using the Cartesian coordinates. In fact, I solved this problem only when I was doing my PhD at Oklahoma State University, and it was a very roundabout method. But I made it extremely simple using the sim. You can see I have used this formula to find out arc sine, which has two values, and I use that to find out the angle of the this connecting rod. So see, it is 214 and this one, so this is the angle. So that's the answer one. Okay, then using that I can find out the d distance of here, and in doing this here I used all the angles as they are, but when it came here I used the angle that is found out in this. So right, that's the advantage, whatever you find can become a data point during the solution of the problem. Now, so I can compare the answers which are right here. Okay, so I can give myself 8 marks here. Okay, like this, 8. Okay. Now, so if this is wrong, I get a hint here about the data, and then some more hints here. Even then, if I go wrong, then I have a detailed sim solution giving the data and formula substitution, answers, etc. And then these are all computed here. So I can find out the total marks here, but this is not a total tutorial, so I don't get the right ones here. Now, revolutionary exam and assessment design. Read. The purpose of presenting you this is so that eventually you will consider a revolutionary exam and assessment design for your institute, so that this which will help the student to perform better. Now here with ELA, integrated instruction, learning and assessment. So as you are instructing, you are learning. As you are also doing the exam, you are still learning. Okay, through via Panchatantra prepares a student to read. That is revolutionary exam and assessment design. Now, the MathCAD interactive final exam sets for all yes by all are, if one gets 108 marks out of 120, that is 90% score in the course exam in first sitting, the course grade of all yes by all is A1, that is 10 by 10. It corresponds to A grade of US, 4 by 4. Now second one, in the second sitting, if you miss 90, you have a chance to a second chance with the appointment with the examination center, properly proctoring. A2 is 9 by 10. So third is A3 is 8. Fourth is 7 by 10, corresponds to C. So one can take any number as decided by the institute, and we can see a system, but ultimately one can definitely pass, okay, but with a C grade. But if one wants to improve, one can take the course again, but he cannot get A1, but one can get A2. That is explained here. This grading system will motivate the student to practice from class 1 to get an A1 course grade. If a student chooses to repeat the course with a previous A4, the highest grade one can get is A2. I think that is fair. Now, with zero financial investment, participating students who take my course perform very well in any engineering course offered by the institute, as well as other courses at any college, because it provides a discipline to study course by oneself effectively. The participating institutions can design the tests and exams as per their policies and still see better performance from their students. And they can advise their faculty to attend my classes so that they can train themselves in a new method and new and efficient way of solving engineering mechanics problems. So, and it doesn't cost anything, basically. Only thing is I cannot certify you because I'm not a certification agency. That doesn't matter. Eh? The bottom line is whether you know whether you are a good teacher. You don't need a certificate for that. Finally, I thank you. Namaste. Jai Sitaram. Hail Mary and Jesus. Allah Malik. Om Amen Amin. You can write to me at this address, email address, or call me via India WhatsApp number 817-951-4710. Please consider the time difference. 9 p.m. night at Indian Standard Time is 10:30 a.m. at my place. I plan to start my classes from July or August, and I'll be offering my classes at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So I'm sorry, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time, which corresponds to 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at my place. Thank you very much for your patience.